Welcome to the Altcoin Hour, your weekly alpha. Yeah, we breaking down the charts, flipping bags, playing smart, from the dips to the moon shots, connecting all the dots. Let's get it. Altcoin Hour.
All right. We got a lot to talk about today. Hope everybody's doing very, very well today. Hand clap to you once again. Boy. I don't know how I can put it. It's a perfect storm. Welcome to the show, LMFG. I see you back there, brother. Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you loud and clear.
Hand clap to you, brother. Hope your day is well. Hope everything is going well, man. I know it's a little chilly over there. It's a little chilly here today. We're supposed to get some snow this weekend, so winter's going to be a late trip over here in Texas. But how's the weather, man? You staying warm over there?
Yeah, we got a little snow, a little ice on the deck. That was about it. Just the dusting.
A little ice.
It's not real cold at night, but it's 45 out there now, but it feels like it's 55, 60 in the sun.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm in the garage warming it up. I got the ceiling fan on, blowing down the heat.
Sure. No ceiling fans here, buddy. We don't need. We got the heat.
I got a steel building, so it gets really hot up there.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's 30 degrees out, it'll be 80 degrees. 13 feet up in the air. So
yeah. Well, at least you got some comfort. It's different here. We're supposed to be getting down pretty close to zero going into the weekend. So we're not set up in Texas. We don't like that here. But welcome to the show. And I have to tell you, LMFG, there's a lot going on, and we're definitely going to talk about it. Bitcoin, pretty close to 89,000. Once again, it did dip below, but again, geopolitics. You have some things that are going on in Greenland. You have a pretty good meeting. We're going to be looking at some video. Brian Armstrong says some very interesting things. Larry Fink, BlackRock CEO, he says some very interesting things today as well. And Michael Saylor calling for a $13 million Bitcoin. Hand clap to that, right? LMFG, I don't think we're getting to 13 mil anytime soon. What's your take on that? I mean, we'll look at his response. We'll look at it because I'm not making this up. He actually said that, but 13 mil, my God, I don't know.
Yeah, the guy's dreaming. I don't know. What would that market cap be?
It's impossible. It's impossible. Even, with the massive amounts of adoption. It's impossible for it to get to 13 mil. And you have gold and silver siphoning right now. We'll get into those metrics. Stock market is bleeding. The longs that I was worried about last week, they did get liquidated. So, and you have shorts that are piling up too. So, very interesting situation. You have Ray Dalio. He's back. Dalio, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He's back with the bubble talk. We're going to get into his remarks too as well. But let's go ahead and transition because it's crazy. Let me tell you, brother, we are in it. Let's go ahead and get into it. You see the red, LMFG. Is the red scaring you? I know we talk about red markets, and it's a lot of red. We're talking about a sea of red bleeding market. I mean, we're heading below 3 trillion when it comes to global market cap. The actual altcoin index did drop almost 10%. What's your take, brother, before we get deep into it?
I've seen it enough times now over the last going on 6 years now. So no big deal. To me, it's the technology. It'll get there. But the banks, got to see what Garlinghouse has to say. He's going to make a recording.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, from last night. He did a meeting the day before the meeting. He got up there earlier with all the elites. And I don't know if Armstrong was invited to that either.
Yeah. I don't think they're getting along very well.
No, they're bumping heads. And Garlinghouse better watch what he says, because when I'm seeing the XRP army ain't liking him too much right now.
Well, that's funny you brought that up because, I was reading this article, and I'm going to give you the headline here. It says, wow, 71% of the profit XRP just triggered a rare signal last seen. This was last seen since 2022, essentially. And this trigger could actually paralyze rallies for months. This is what the headline says. Now, the data is pretty interesting as well. And I'll read this again. While 71% are in profit, we're talking XRP profit, most of them are wells. Just triggered a rare signal, guys. Last seen in 2022. Now, the sub headline is what really should shake your XRPers. New buyers are accumulating below 6 to 12 month top buyer signals. So every bounce towards break even can become instant resistance. So you're looking at a very shake. And then you have Brad's remarks. We're not hearing anything from Larson. It's all Brad. We'd love to hear what his take is. Larson, the co-owner as well. When it comes to the how should I say, the ousted, is that even correct, LMFG, as I trim the music down? The CTO that left, was he ousted or did he voluntarily just step down? Because that's unclear to me.
Yeah, I don't know. He's on the board, so
okay.
I would say he wasn't ousted. You know, because Larson wouldn't have brought him on. I mean, he could have been bumping heads with guys. I don't know, but he's too important, I think, to that project. So
he's still around. Well, that's good to know that he's still around, because just like you said, he's very important to the bottom line. And they did do some upgrades before he did move back. So hopefully he's still instrumental. I still like the ledger. I'm still bullish on the ledger, but let's go ahead and get into it. We'll get into that article because I thought it was very interesting. And you brought that up. And there's some grumbling. The actual community is not very happy with Brad. Brian Armstrong is fighting the good fight, but I think he's the only one that's actually fighting the good fight. Unless there's some people in the background.
Kraken, Mexi, all of them more or less saying, okay, let it go.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Right.
That's BS. We don't need to let it go. We need to fight this. We need to, push the banks off, because if the banks get their way, and we're going to get into a crypto clarity act, a market structure bill. We're going to get into a review on that. It's a nice video that we're going to react to. We have this gentleman. He's very outspoken. And we're going to get a clear cut view on what's going on, because what we're getting from Atkins is just flat out, I'm not going to say he's lying, but he's not being very truthful when he's saying that it's ready to pass. It is not ready to pass. There's amendments. It's stalled out. The market structure bill is not ready to pass. And the Clarity Act, not ready to pass. And I believe that Trump is going to veto the current status of that, the current makeup, the markup. I think he'll veto it, because I think it goes against his World Liberty Finance. I think it's a conflict. It's a direct shot, a torpedo into his own platform. So I don't see him passing that in his current state. It's going to mortally wound World Liberty Finance, along with DeFi as well. So $89,000. Let's go and get into the Bitcoin situation, because LMFG. Now, I posted that we're going to 80K. And as you can see, there's a lot of selling. I don't know if you guys see this. This is a live chart. And Bitcoin is selling off right now, LMFG, at an alarming rate. Now, you have Geopolitics, but the longs that were liquidated, and to the tune, I'm going to get to this real quick. Let's go ahead and share this tab here. According to the CoinGlass data, and we're talking about those longs that were put into place last week, and I tweeted this. I didn't like the $96,000 Bitcoin because it was inorganic. Okay. It was full of longs, full of institutional inflow. Retail is out, LMFG. Retail is out. They're out the door. They ran for the hills. So you're just seeing ETF inflow here. You're seeing a lot of institutional inflow, a lot of big time wallets that are recirculating money here. And then you see the casino as well. Within the past 24 hours, 154,000 traders were liquidated. Almost $1 billion. And I call this 646 million right now. I think it's going to get to $1 billion worth of liquidations. You see the shorts that are piling up as well. You see the longs that were completely decimated. One ETH USD pair on Hyperliquid, $7 million, guys. So as we move back to Bitcoin, LMFG, I think this downward pressure, along with the geopolitics, along with the longs, along with altcoins that are retreating as well, reacting to this, this is a recipe for 80K. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I don't know, man, because we had to see this Devos thing. I think whatever Garlinghouse says and Armstrong says after this is going to have a huge impact.
Yeah.
And remember, next week we got Powell to come out if he's going to drop a rate. So I don't know if it'll hit that low.
Yeah, he's not dropping those rates.
So
I don't see him dropping the rates, bro.
Yeah. And then if it's all bad news from these guys out of Devos, and then this guy doesn't drop the rate, I could see lower than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
70K with Bitcoin, I think.
Well, you still have a bubble. And speaking of it, because we're going to continue with Bitcoin, look at the stock market. Let's look at the stock market. Look at all this red. Now, you thought the cryptocurrency market was red. You're looking at the S&P down almost 100 points, down almost 2%. Dow Jones almost down 1.5%. And you have a NASDAQ 1.5% down. You don't even want to look at the futures. You don't even want to look at that. And I'll slide down. Nothing but bloody red. We're talking a 2% drop in the Nikkei out there as well. Almost 2% drop. These futures look very, very ugly. NVIDIA down almost 4%. Mag 7 taking a hit as well. Tesla, Apple. It's crazy. You have and look at the commodities. Oil, LMFG. We're going back down below $60 with Brent and crude WTI. You look at the bonds, 10-year up, 30-year up. Everything is not in where it should be, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. 10 years getting really close to a 4.5 LMFG. We're going in the wrong direction.
Gold,
you know what I'm saying?
Up $64 right now.
No, absolutely. This is what I'm telling you guys. Gold is at $4,700, and it is pushing up past 4%. Silver is almost at $100 LMFG. This is nuts. So, and copper is copper topped off at $6, bro.
Everybody's talking about copper now, I see.
Yeah, $6 it topped off. So what's going on? I think I saw a rate at 0 out there. Grab the mic, brother. It's up there. Click that link up top. If you guys want to come up and join the conversation as well, you don't have to share your video. You can actually just use the audio portion. It's up top, pinned up top. Click it, set it up, and let me know you're in the back, and then we'll pull you up in this discussion because it's getting real creepy. It's getting real creepy. So when you see in copper that's moving up to $6, and I want to talk about gold and silver because it is siphoning from Bitcoin. It is siphoning from the stock market as well. These metals are pulling fiat, and you have banks that are actually blocking wires, blocking their actual account holders from converting their fiat into gold and silver. And they claim it's because of the alarming rate of scams. I call BS on that. They just don't want the fiat to be converted into metals because there's a shortage of a lot of these metals in these exchanges. They don't really have the metal, which is crazy. I don't know if you want to have a take on that, bro, but you're seeing a squeeze across the board.
Yeah, just ugly.
No, it is. You know, the system was not ready for this, brother. Let's just go ahead and say it. You know.
Yeah. I got to step away for like 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Go for it, brother. So $89,000. We are abruptly going very, very fast to $87,000. This is affecting the altcoins, guys. This Bitcoin push down, and it's a lot. It is a lot. I think we're going to hit 88 during the broadcast there. ETH is below $3,000, which is very, very bearish if you're a staker. The upgrades, we have the actual Glamsterdam that's going to be coming up later this year. Ethereum on a foundational basis is going to be okay, but when it comes to this price getting very, very dangerously close to $2,700, that's going to be creating a lot of fear. Welcome to the show, Mom. I hope you're doing great today. That's going to create a lot of fear with the stakers as well as Ethereum as a whole when it comes to bottom retail buyers and sellers. As far as development, the developers are going to keep building on ETH. It's just going to get better for ETH. I'm not really worried about ETH when it comes to the foundational aspect. But when it comes to $2,900 and going down to $2,700, that's going to really, really shake the weak paper hands. And they're going to move out, So we'll see. I'm going to monitor that. It's down 6% currently within the 7-day period. BNB down 3% as well, $891. XRP below $2. We're going to get into that XRP report because I think what's going on with Brad, the actual negative sentiment when it comes to his approach to the crypto market structure bill, to the Clarity Act bill, he's for the BS. We already know. And the community is not having that. So You're seeing a 9% down, reductive pattern in the XRP price within a week, 5% down within the 24-hour period. So you're seeing ETH and XRP selling off very, very abruptly. Massive selling when it comes to ETH and XRP. ETH is almost 7% down within a 24-hour period. So these altcoins are running scared. And if you're a holder of these top 15, and if you understand the actual protocols and the foundationary aspects like Solana, you're probably going to be buying this dip. This is what Jim Cramer is saying, buy the dip. So you see Solana down 11% within the week, which is crazy. Almost 6% within a 24-hour period. A lot of these alts are bleeding profusely within a 24-hour period. Massive selling right now when it comes to these altcoins. They are feeling the heat. Dogecoin down almost 4%. Tron down almost 4%. Cardano 35 cents down 4% within the 24-hour period. 13% within the week. So these altcoins are getting hit hard. Now, meanwhile, you see a rush. Even though it's down below $600, Bitcoin Cash is making some moves here. I don't quite understand that, why you have a lot of buyers in that, but I got to look into that. I want to know where that money is coming from. Monero, which is crazy. It's down, but it went up really, really close to $700. And I think there's a lot of the Zcash guys that are moving over and converting their Zcash into Monero. We'll get a little insight into that too later. 21% down. So everybody sold that pump. The recent pump in Monero was sold, and a lot of people made profits. So, hand clap to those guys that made profit there. Chainlink, $12 down across the board. Very formidable platform. Amazing Oracle. Amazing. Link is amazing, but it is getting hit as well. So it doesn't matter how amazing you are. What's going on geopolitically, what's going on with these markets, the uncertainty, the tariff discussion, completely being torpedoed, the EU completely reneging on their tariff agreement with the US. That hit the markets very hard over the weekend. And you have these solid projects, these solid blockchains, solid protocols that are getting hit hard by the news, by geopolitics, by the uncertainty when it comes to the reluctantness of the Supreme Court to rule on tariffs, which they said they will not rule today. It's going to get worse. Unfortunately, it's just going to get worse here. So Stellar down 9%, Hyperliquid down across the freaking board. That is getting crazy when you think about Hyperliquid, which is a solid perk. Down across the board, almost $19. This thing was supposed to be $70 projected by Q3. I don't think it's going to get to $70. So that investor group is probably looking sideways right now. Probably looking very sideways right now at the developers, but I think it's going to survive. Made a lot of money last year, along with Aster as well. A very young platform as well. Everybody's pissed off at Aster. These particular perpetual exchanges are going to be okay. I'm actually buying this dip. Not financial advice, but I've bought the Hyperliquid dip as well as Aster. So, because these platforms are not going anywhere. They made a lot of money last year. And once we get into the clear, once we get clarity, they're just going to go back up to their ATH. So Jim Cramer's right. You buy in the red, but you got to be very careful and be strategic when you're buying in this red. There's a lot of blood in the water, but you got to be strategic because a lot of these platforms aren't coming back. They're just not going to make it. So just be careful, when you're buying these dips, make sure you're buying something that's actually has longevity, that's actually going to weather the storm. They're going to upgrade and they're going to come back stronger than ever, because a lot of them are not, unfortunately. So again, Zcash, will it go back to 700? I don't think so. The dev team, mass exodus, they're actually splintering off and doing their own thing. So Zcash may become a nothing burger over time. Who knows? But it's $351 right now across the board. Suchain had an outage. Looks like they fixed that outage, but they're down across the board as well. $1.49 for Suchain. I think Suchain is going to be okay. I think they fixed the issue. LMFG, if you're still with us. So we'll see. No more outages, please.
Yeah, right. I saw that. I don't know if what they're doing with it, or did they have to fork it or anything? I'm not sure.
Well, it was a core issue, and I think it had a lot to do with the validator stack. So I don't think they have to fork this. At least they're not saying that. And of course, they're not going to come out and give you the bad news. If you expect for these devs to come out and give you the actual 100% news on this, they're not going to do it. They're going to sugarcoat things, and this is what the Solana devs did, 2 years ago when they had those issues. They kept telling us everything was okay when it was not. We've seen catastrophic shutdowns and catastrophic congestion. Solana's been running pretty good lately, so I think they may have corrected those issues, but there are some other underlying issues with that blockchain that I'm not going to get into right now. But I may do a standalone video because I've been reading some things. Not good for Solana, but a lot of people aren't worried about that. They're just trying to make profit, do the main thing, and you have tokenized stocks that are erupting too on Solana. So I hope everything is okay. I would hate to see that go downhill because it's looking pretty good for the long run, long term with Solana, if they can keep the chain up. So we'll see. Litecoin $68, AVAX $12, and we'll round it up with Canton is at 12 cents as well. Everybody was buying that. By the way, that's probably the only altcoin on the board here that is actually showing movement, positive movement. It's going to be Canton. That is a blockchain, a protocol. 14% up within the 24-hour period. So I don't know what's going on with this situation, but this is the only altcoin that's showing growth within the turmoil. It's very young. This thing launched in November last year. But I got to tell you, LMFG, Canton, this was actually selected, right, by the government, I think, to do some pretty cool things going into the future. It is up. It is actually pumping here, which is the only one that's up 14%.
I am not familiar with at all.
Yeah, this is, I think this was actually selected. There may be some news on this. I don't want to say anything wrong. This is a layer one, obviously. RWA specialty. It's going to be payments, RWAs, tokenized assets. And by the way, tokenized assets, RWA's got a huge endorsement, going to be implanted into its own sector with the New York Stock Exchange, which is very, very cool. Let's go ahead and get into this breaking news.
They're ready to go to ETFs 24/7.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Yeah, did that even go? Okay, there it goes. Let's go ahead and get into it.
There you go. There it is.
Yeah, we got to get into it. We talked about it, so let's go ahead and get into it. I was going to hold this, but this is some great news. Thinking about and we were just talking about the Canton situation, which launched last year, November 2025. Layer one, that thing was selected by the government for some pretty cool things. It's already implanted, and that caused that particular price point to pump pretty hard once the news came out. Now, speaking of tokenized securities and assets, RWAs, the New York Stock Exchange is set to launch tokenized security platform, unlocking 24/7 trading and stablecoin-based funding. This is great. This is great. We got to slide this in to the news before we go to Coinbase CEO. I want to get into what he says, and Ray Dalio too as well, when it comes to market infrastructure. And then we'll get into the Clarity Act, and we'll see what's going on with that, because currently it is nothing going on. Paul Atkins is lying on X right now. They're not moving this bill to Donald's desk. It's stalled out. But let's get into this. LMFG, the NYSE, New York Stock Exchange, is preparing to roll out a tokenized securities platform that will unlock 24/7 trading and stablecoin-based funding. The platform, which is still subject to regulatory approval, would also enable instant settlement and order size in dollar amounts. The project will power a new New York Stock Exchange venue. I like the way that sounds, bro. A new, refreshed look into investing in stocks. I like that. And tokenized securities too as well. I love the way that sounds. This is going to aim to offer trading for tokenized shares of traditional or traditionally issued securities, in addition to tokens natively issued as digital securities, LMFG. So this is a multifaceted situation. It's not a one-trick pony here. Now, the New York Stock Exchange Group President Lynn Martin says in an announcement that the stock exchange wants to continue traditions of transforming, quote, the way markets operate, unquote. So we're moving into the future with the stock exchange. And mind you got a Texas stock exchange is going to be launched too as well. This is interesting, bro. Now, here's a quote from the president.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Are they going to open this wide open, or are they going to say, oh, well, just accredited investors?
That's a good question.
Holders. I wonder if they're just going to let it go wide open.
That's a good question. I don't know. I know the World Liberty Finance, that was just an accredited situation. You know, everybody couldn't just buy that. I think you can get it on exchanges now, but initially that IPO, you couldn't get it unless you were verified.
Right. Yeah, so you watch.
Yeah. Very interesting here. Here's a quote from the president. He says, Lynn Martin, the president of the New York Stock Exchange Group, quote, "We are leading the industry." I don't think that's correct, but let's get into the quote. "We are leading the industry towards fully on-chain solutions." I like the sound of that. "Grounded in the unmatched protection and high regulatory standards that position us to marry trust with the state-of-the-art technology." We're talking about blockchain, guys. The tech. Just like you said earlier, bro. Invest in the tech. That's what I always say. Harnessing our expertise to reinvent market infrastructure and how we'll meet and shape the demands of a digital future. The New York Stock Exchange parent company, Intercontinental Exchange, ICE, not the ICE that we're accustomed to seeing on TV running around in Minnesota. This is a different ICE. It's preparing for the potential integration of tokenized collateral. According to the announcement, the financial services firm is working with banks or banking giants, Bank of New York and Citibank as well, or Citibank, to support tokenized deposits across ICE's clearinghouse. LMFG, this is a big deal. This is a very big deal. Just to close this out, New York Stock Exchange's new ventures follows the footsteps of its competitor, the NASDAQ stock market, which filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission in December to extend its equities trading hours to 23 hours a day, 5 days a week. So what is your take on that? As we go back to the chart here, I like the 24/7 trading. They're competing with the crypto market now. So, you know, and I think this is going to branch out. This is going to be very interesting, LMFG.
Yeah, big time. It's going to change a lot. You talk of securities here, you know what I mean? And I don't know if the language does actually say, I see some tokenization there. And like you said, a token that's registered as a security. So
right, yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Very, very, very exciting too. The relative strength index is going to be a heat map that's basically going to tell us if we're oversold or overbought. And this is a culmination of many, many, many altcoins, many blockchain coins, many, many things. Welcome to the show, Tracy. I hope you're having a great day. We're currently in oversold territory, and it's hard for me to believe this. This is not good. If we're oversold right now, you're seeing a massive sell-off right now. I guess it correlates. You know, we were overbought 2 weeks ago, so this volatility is really rough, especially for the newcomers. You're seeing a lot of altcoins selling off right now. So, good Lord, MFG, it just gets even worse. Crypto ETFs, dare we look at this graph? Dare we? It is so bad, the net ETF flow is not even registering. We can't even keep up with the outflow. Last month, we went down almost 300 million. The weakest month is going to be in October, 4.9 billion reduction. Talking yearly performance, you're seeing a reductive flow in ETH and Bitcoin as well. ETH actually has some inflow, but productively, not so much within the last week, almost $100 million reductive pattern here. So when we're looking at the fear and greed index, guys, neutral territory. I don't think it's neutral. I don't really buy this crypto fear and greed index report. I think it's off LMFG. I think we're slightly in the bearish section of this, but you know, I guess it's just, you know, neutral is between 60 and 40. So we're at 42 with the index number essentially, but I don't know. I'm calling a very bearish outlook going into the latter part of the week. We did not get a tariff announcement from the actual Supreme Court. I want your take on that, bro. Are they being influenced to not decide on this because of the severity of that decision?
I just checked. There's another one I follow, cryptocurrency tracker, and it has fear and greed at 32.
Exactly. So the CMC needs to adjust some things. I didn't buy that, and you've just confirmed that this is way off. So. No, absolutely. You know,
the number's probably even lower than that.
I think so too. I'm pretty sure.
This is getting the retail out. This is not good.
No, exactly. That's the whole point. That is the thing. I want to switch to Ray Dalio. Very chilling, and then we'll get to Brian on the actual markups. But this is a billionaire that's been dead on a lot of calls here. And you have a brand too that's calling a major reduction in Bitcoin prices as well. He called the 2018 situation. Ray Dalio is coming out, and he is scaring the crap out of people. Let's get into what he's talking about.
Step back from the sensational and be clear about what I mean. The monetary order is breaking down. Okay. What I mean by the monetary order is that fiat currencies and debt as a storehold of wealth is not being held by central banks in the same way, and that there was a change. The biggest market to move last year was the gold market, far better than the tech markets, right, and so on. And the U.S. markets underperformed foreign markets because of the fact you could see it in the numbers of the central banks and so on. So let's just look at the fact that on the other side of trade deficits and trade wars, there are capital and capital wars. And so as we're looking at that, and you reported what the stock market and so on, but you didn't report that the gold market is also up 3.
We did say that earlier this morning. Okay. It's up to record levels again, and silver.
Dude, he makes a great point. Because see, the gold silver situation is it doesn't run parallel to what a lot of the news outlets are actually saying. And they know that. And people who understand, when you see silver go up to $100, usually that's a barometer that is stating that war is coming. Traditionally, and we see the saber rattling. We see what the EU is doing. We see Germany moving troops into Greenland. We see our actual fighter jets moving into Greenland. There's something that's about to happen, and you have the Ukraine thing with Russia that's boiling over, the Iran thing with Israel. It's crazy right now, and he's right. When you see these metals, all this money, this fiat trying to be going to the safe havens, this is not good, and he's right. You got to report the silver. You got to report the copper that's topping off at $6. You have to report that, because I think people who understand what's going on there, that transfer, that fiat being converted into metals, that's a sign of a very, very dire situation to come. LMFG, I don't know, what. So far, are you agreeing with Ray? This is not good.
No, not at all. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, agreeing with him, it's ugly.
Yeah, we're at Davos. This is live from Davos right there. You have Larry Fink too. We'll get into his speech, because he's basically saying the world doesn't trust institutions anymore. The distrust is large. People are not trusting the institutions to take care of business, which I don't think I ever trusted them to do that as well. They're money makers. Their intentions are not to take care of the world. I don't know where that came from. I don't expect institutions to do the right thing. They have their own agenda, but let's continue with what Ray's talking about.
Is you look at what is happening and why it's happening, and who's buying it. So let's just take a moment on that capital war issue, okay? We know that both the holders of US dollar denominated debt, which is money, and those who need it, the United States, are worried about each other, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have other countries who are holding it and they're worried about each other, and we're producing a lot of it, that's a big issue, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to explain what is going on with fiat currencies, generally speaking.
Yeah, I want to stop right there, because he's so right. A lot of the countries are like, please stop printing the dollar. What are you doing? But that's exactly what Trump wants to do. He wants to lower the rates so they can actually get a better return on the printouts. Because right now it's just not advantageous. You get a 0% rate, they're going to print the dollar into oblivion. And the countries are like, what are you doing? We're holding this dollar that you're hyperinflating. You're killing us. LMFG, this is not good for stocks. This is not good for crypto market as well. There's going to be a reset if this keeps happening. Look at silver, LMFG. I never thought in my life I would see silver this close to $100. So what he's talking about is very true. We're weakening the dollar. I don't think that's going to be smart, because it is pegged to a lot of these stable coins, and Bitcoin is pegged to the fiat value. The actual value is pegged to fiat. So when it comes to not only geopolitics affecting the markets, watching them dive has a lot to do with the fate of the dollar. And if we get a rate reduction from Jerome Powell, which I don't think we're going to get, I don't think he's that dumb. The dollar's toast, bro. It's already a zombified situation, but you're talking about a free fall into hell if we start printing more of it, because it's going to hyperinflate the situation. And that's what's scaring the hell. This is what Ray is saying. It's scaring the hell out of the other countries because they hold this dollar. And by the way, I believe our treasuries are being dumped due to what's going on in Greenland right now. So LMFG, this is a recipe for disaster. So, I hope the Greenland situation is worth it, because we're going to be going, it's going to really hurt us, bro, if we go into Greenland and we actually use a show of force to overtake that situation. I think that's a door that we don't need to open. And if we go through that, there's no coming back, because it's going to crash markets. I'm sorry. It's going to crash the dollar. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But what happens then to, let's say this new guy gets in, I think it's in May. I forget the actual date. They skip a month, and then but when he comes in, he starts dropping 0.5 point and 3/4, totally destroys the dollar. What happens to the yen? Remember?
Yeah, exactly.
What you call like Buffett? What is
Buffett?
Name?
So you think that's the angle? You think that's the angle?
Maybe.
Oh
right?
my God!
Just the light bulb. What I'm thinking. I don't know.
I never even thought about that, bro. Oh my God.
All the Japanese people be coming over here vacation.
Oh my God. Dude, that would send the yen up so high. This is Buffett. Warren Buffett, you smart ass son of a gun. I think that's the angle. And if he's right, that guy's going to be the richest guy on the planet. Holy crap. I can see that happening. I mean, it looks that way. Let's continue with Ray, and we'll continue with that. Man, it looks that way. Jesus.
And now if you take the conflicts, you can't ignore the possibility that capital wars, in other words, maybe there's not the same inclination to buy U.S. debt and so on. We at least need to talk about those possibilities and find out who is buying and selling what that is behind these market movements. And what?
No, he's right. He's right. So, and back to Bitcoin. Unfortunately, Bitcoin is it's doing what I told you guys it was probably going to do. More selling. So there's a lot of sell pressure, unfortunately, and Ray was dead on. Now, as far as what you said about Buffett, he did move a lot of money into the end. And for that being an angle, oh my God, LMFG, that reeks of a disaster. He's going to benefit from it because it looks like
that's where
we're going. That's where we're going, bro. And by the way, Trump signs a bill slapping 500%. Yes, you heard it. 500% tariffs on countries buying Russian oil, including the EU. It's just comical at this point in time. It doesn't even seem real. 500% tariffs, just sign the bill. It just seems comical to me of what's going on. It doesn't seem real. I just want to pinch myself.
Some crazy tariff on French wine. And,
yeah, absolutely.
All kinds of stuff. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't get it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court did not rule on the tariffs. They did not rule on the tariffs.
Yeah, I saw that. They already made their announcement and didn't even state the next date.
Why? This is the second time they came out and said they didn't want to rule. So why? Is there pressure? Obviously, there's pressure. Obviously, they're going to rule against this. I think this is the thing. If they were not going to rule against it and they were going to say everything is okay, they would have already said that. So obviously, they're planning to rule against the tariffs. So they're being pressured not to come out to say that. That's why we do not have a rule. That should send chills down everybody's spine, because the Supreme Court, I've never seen them running scared like this before. I've never seen this type of suppression when it comes to the Supreme Court on this level. I've never seen this, but this Mr. Trump here, the Don. This is a different animal. And he's applying pressure. He's applying a lot of pressure right now because he wants his way. Not only with the tariffs, but with Greenland as well. I thought that was very interesting. So I thought this was interesting too. Now, when it comes to Gary Gensler, his exit, this is what's happened since 1 year after Gary Gensler's actual exit from office. Now, 1 year after Gary Gensler's exit, the SEC's approach to crypto has done a full 180. This is the post here. Under Trump, acting chair Mark Udall, followed by confirming Chairman Paul Atkins. I'm sorry, got a little tongue tied, which is telling lies right now about the crypto market structure bill. It's not ready. Now, he dropped the long-running cases against Coinbase, Robinhood, Crypto.com, Uniswap, and Ripple, and just recently Binance as well. Okay. The Samurai wallet situation, that was dropped as well. Those devs are actually going to be receiving their exit papers. So no jail time for those guys. Maybe even be refunded the fund money. Who knows? The fine money. Who knows? All those enforcements are out the door. Clarity first is in. We do not have clarity at this point in time. That's a lie. Democratic commissioners, including Caroline Crenshaw, have exited since Gary's release, leaving a fully Republican-led SEC as Congress debates Clarity Act to define crypto rules. And as we know it today, that fully Republican-led SEC cannot pass the Clarity Act. In fact, they're allowing the banks to alter all the language. So it doesn't matter if it's Republican-led. They have failed the crypto community. Now, the bottom line is what a crypto rush is saying. Enforcement is easing, obviously. Leadership is aligned, and regulation is evolving. The pieces are lined up for crypto and Bitcoin eruption within the United States. Are you agreeing? Is it better, LMFG, since this esteemed gentleman has left the building? Is it better when it comes to Bitcoin?
I think by dropping all the lawsuits, yes, that helped tremendously. Them not getting this Clarity Act signed when the Genius Act was, that's the downfall. What is there? I think last I looked, it was like 137 amendments on it.
They basically rewrote the damn bill.
Yeah, all for the banks. And there's a bunch of amendments up against the Genius Act as we speak. Mm-hmm. And who knows where that's going. And it's all positive for the banks, and it's horrible. And let's see what happens if Armstrong just turns around and says, "Oh, yeah, okay, we'll do this." I don't think it'll be good. And I'm telling you, we got to watch what Garland's house. I don't know if it's out there yet, but he said he was going to record it and post it out. Let's see what he says.
Well, we did get some pretty decent information from this gentleman right here, and we're talking about it. Welcome to the show, Jay. Coinbase CEO confirms that crypto market structure bill is included in Trump's policies roadmap. Crypto regulation is moving from talk to action. It's just a more BS, and I want to hear what Brian has to say here. Hopefully, this is not BS, guys.
President Trump has said he wants to be the first crypto president. Mm-hmm. You've been to a few events with him. You've contributed to the ballroom, the inauguration. How much time do you spend with him? What is your relationship like? What are you advocating for? How does he respond?
Yeah, well, I do think he's done a good job of being very crypto forward and helping get some clear rules and legislation passed. I go to DC about once a quarter, but that's not really usually to meet with the president. It's to meet with members of the Senate, our regulators, members of the House when the bill was going through there.
Mar-a-Lago?
No, not yet. But yeah, I mean, I've met him a few times.
Didn't one of the Trump bros say that he did go to Mar-a-Lago? I remember seeing a post about his presence out there. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. He says he's never been there, but that's besides the point.
And found him to be constructive on this issue. And I think that if this market structure bill doesn't get moving, he may have something to say about that. And I think it's part of his agenda to get this second piece of legislation through.
But what are you advocating for when you do have time with him and you do have time with the White House?
Getting crypto legislation passed. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much all we talk about.
Mm-hmm. But legislation that you like?
Well, it should be fair for everybody so American companies can win. That's what he cares about, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what we're getting. That's not what we've seen. We're not getting that LMFG. And this is obviously, this guy has great intentions, and it got really heated. Brian Armstrong fired off a lot of heated tweets toward the White House, towards Congress recently. He's not as nice as he is in this interview right now. He's pretty pissed off, and he should be, because this affects his exchange. What's going on with these amendments? It's not going to be very good for Coinbase and other exchanges that are providing yield and providing decentralized finance, activities. Not good, LMFG. This is very anti-DeFi. These amendments, anti-crypto, essentially. This is what I'm saying, and this is what no one's really wanting to talk about. Let's get a pretty decent, thorough update on what's actually going on, and a pretty interesting opinion too as well when it comes to the Clarity Act, because it is not ready, guys, not at all.
Progress on the Clarity Act, that's Congress's cryptocurrency regulation, was stalled last week after Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong withdrew his support of the bill. My next guest says the bill is crucial to the crypto industry and that time may be running out for lawmakers to reach an agreement. That is Mark Palmer, Benchmark Company Managing Director and Senior Research Analyst. Mark, it's good to see you. So the Clarity Act is sort of the pipes around regulation, sort of the nitty-gritty of how cryptocurrencies, how stable coins, how tokenization is going to be regulated. What, in your view, needs to happen to get this thing over the finish line?
Yes, well, this is an absolutely critical bill in terms of creating the rules of the road for the crypto space so that institutional investors who have been reluctant to get involved because of the lack of those rules can do so in earnest. And that really represents the next leg up for the crypto space in terms of the growth of the ecosystem, crypto prices, the support for all of the different crypto companies that have come onto the market. The single biggest point of contention with regard to the bill has to do with yield and interest on stablecoins. Stablecoins, of course, are backed on a one-to-one basis by US dollars. They are used for payments.
Well, under the new language, LMFG, and we talked about this, not only fiat, but treasuries as well. This is what's happening. That came in the Genius Act. So it's not only backed by, pegged by fiat, but by treasuries. It's mandatory. There's a basket that's behind these stable coins now, and they're going to be trackable. They're going to be programmable. So a lot of things have changed since the original draft of the Genius Act.
For money transfers, for settlement, but the Genius Act, which was passed last June, said that there could not be any yield or interest on stablecoins, but there was a bit of a loophole where third parties, such as a Coinbase, could offer yield on those stablecoins. Now the banking lobby, which is seeing this as a threat to commercial deposits, is going after that provision, wants to make sure that even third parties are not able to offer those sorts of yields. And so that's where we are right now.
So LMFG, this is the core of the movement when it comes to the banks. They don't want to make it better. They want to make it more advantageous for themselves. And they want, like you said, they want to cut out, I think, arguably the best part of decentralized finance, and that is yield. Substantial yield, and not only with the altcoins, but with stable coins. They do not like that because that's a threat to their establishment, LMFG. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to keep my money in my brick and mortar savings account if I can pretty much double my yield in DeFi. I'm getting out of there. I'm going converting into stable coins or altcoins, and I'm going to get some massive yield. Some of these altcoins, synthetic tokens, are giving out you double-digit yield. And they're in secure platforms, so that's a threat. So they want to discontinue that, and they want to route us into these centralized rails of yield that are less than 1%. What's your take on this? Because this is essentially the core of the fight when it comes to the banks. This is why everything is stalled out.
Right, and I really had more faith in our politicians, brother. I'm telling you, this is horrible. 5 years, like I told you, it took me 60 hours. I was like, holy shit, this is so beautiful. goodbye to the banks, and we're going to get 4 or 5% interest just in a checking account. You know what I mean? Because you don't have the board members. Like I keep saying, you don't have all the headquarters, all the employees, big time the board members. You know, where you go into DAOs, and it's tremendous what this can do. And these banks, they're going to fight this tooth and nail, man.
Yeah.
And politicians suck.
Well, it's unfortunate.
For the people, they should be for the people, and they should have none of these amendments on there.
Well, you know, they want to gather this shield for themselves, and they need a lifeline. They're dying. They're knee deep in mortgage defaults. They're knee deep in car loan defaults.
And these politicians want to go with it because they're going to not give the people the money. And this way, keep the people broke, and you got to rely on the government, and the government has more power, and this sucks.
No, absolutely, absolutely. You know, I totally get that. You know, they're seeing it as a lifeline. They want the yield off for themselves, and they're not going to split it with us, guys. Right? They could continue to give us less than 1% in our savings. Some of it is like negative. So if you have the interest rates that are going to go down the way Trump wants it to 0, he wants 0%. This is what he wants with the federal rate. That's not good. The banks don't really like that. So this is a lifeline for the banks. And this is why they're trying to torpedo our yield. And there's some other provisions too as well. There's some more amendments that are very ugly too that no one's talking about. I'm going to start talking about that too, because they want to kill DeFi essentially. They do not want decentralized applications as they are today to exist and to go into the future when it comes to this language. It's pretty extraordinary when you really look into it. It's jacked up, if you will.
Trying to find a compromise between the banks on the one side and the crypto entities that would benefit from being able to offer yield on stablecoins on the other.
And Mark, just to make sure I understand this, so stablecoins are backed 1-to-1 with the dollar, and they're backed because companies like a Circle own U.S. Treasuries, which are yield-producing instruments. So is the idea that they would pay out some portion of that yield to stablecoin holders?
Absolutely not.
That's the way that things work, in essence, with a company like Coinbase. If you own USDC...
The banks do not like that. They are offended by this. This is one of the best things in the space right now, this yield. You can just hold it in Coinbase. You can just convert your fiat into USDC on Coinbase. That's it. You don't have to put it into a staking pool. Just hold it and you get like almost 5% yield. They hate that. They hate that financial independence that we have with DeFi. They despise it, and they're trying to extinguish that.
Stable coins through Coinbase, you can earn a yield of 3.5%, which
way more than that. He's lowballing it. LMFG. Me and you both know it's like 4.5 on the average, 5 on the high.
Of course, is much more favorable than the tiny amounts of interest that can be earned in commercial deposits in banks.
Absolutely.
As such, the banking lobby has said that $6 trillion of U.S. commercial deposits would be at risk, simply because consumers, seeing that they could earn 3.5% and more on stablecoins, would go in that direction. That would suck deposits out of the banking system and ultimately curtail commercial lending and the other means through which banks help to support the economy.
Well, so what? Who cares? I think that they need to fall. They need to collapse, because I would rather buy my house in a tokenized asset platform marketplace. I would rather do that than to go through a bank, to go through all these second and third parties, get jacked around.
Overhead.
You know what I'm saying? No, absolutely. That's a better thing for the consumer, is to go into a marketplace, a decentralized marketplace, rather than going through the brick and mortar. Who gives a damn about them failing? They need to fail. They should have failed years ago. They were bailed out multiple times. They didn't learn their lesson. They continue this frivolous lending. All right. Giving people car loans and home loans that didn't deserve it, you know.
The guy, I think it was Enron back in 2000 or something. The guy that ran that company to the ground, the government.
Oh yeah.
And now I think he's like the president of one of the other.
No, exactly. They just keep recirculating these monsters. See, this is the stuff that people don't talk about. These particular gremlins is what I like to call them. They're recirculated into the system. They give them new names. They run new corporations under new titles and shit. But this is the same gremlin that, like you said, that just took down Imran. He's still working. He's still grinding it out, ruining people's portfolios and shit. It's crazy. You get him out, let him fail. And Trump wants to do this, but he's running into a wall when it comes to that. Plus, his plate is full. He's got a lot on his plate. But when it comes to the banks, they need to fail. I mean, they're the reason why. Yeah, the OA situation. I mean, all this frivolous lending, and they're up to their eyeballs in defaults right now. I got to tell you, you can look at the numbers are crazy right now. I think we're at a point where it's not good. I digress. It's not good.
That $6 trillion figure comes from a Treasury study. It seems a bit of an exaggeration in our view, simply because most stablecoin usage, again, comes down to payments, money transfers, and the like. But it's clear that the banks see this as a threat. There could well be a compromise here because there are other ways that crypto platforms can generate revenue from stablecoins, particularly by providing what is equivalent to yield or rewards to their customers. One is through staking, which is the means through which new cryptocurrencies are created through proof of stake algorithms, protocols. And another would be by providing liquidity to decentralized finance or DeFi protocols. Either way, there would be the equivalent of yield generated in terms of reward. So there is another way that the crypto platforms can provide a means of attracting and retaining customers on their platforms without offering interest. That may be where this all shakes out at the end.
So are they going to attack that? Are they going to come from the platforms, the decentralized applications that offer a synthetic yield? I think with Zeus network, you can actually convert your Bitcoin into a synthetic version, which is pegged to Bitcoin, a very secure platform, and you can get yield on your Bitcoin, right? Are they going to attack that? Is that next? The altcoin yield, because you're talking double-digit yield on your Bitcoin you can get on that platform. Are they going to attack that next? That's the thing. Do we see that next? I think we do. If they win this fight with the stablecoin yield, I think they're going to attack decentralized applications next, because that's a threat too as well. Because like you said, that's another option now. I wouldn't recommend LP farming, is what the last option he was talking about, for the novice investors, for the beginners, because there's impermanent loss there. And a lot of people don't understand that. That LP farming can go left real quick, if you don't know what you're doing. So that's something I wouldn't recommend for the new users. But when it comes to just gathering yield right now, you can just do that by holding USDC on Coinbase, or you can go into the DApps.
I played with LP farming once about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I lost. I said, okay, I'm done.
No, you can lose it. That's a casino too. And, you got guys that promote that, but they don't really tell you about the impermanent loss factors. Yeah. I mean, you could make some double digit yield, but you got to know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
You got to stay on it constantly.
You got to watch it like a baby.
Almost hourly at times.
No, you got to watch it like a baby. It's like watching a child, an infant. You got to watch it like a baby. You can't just walk away from that, and you got to move quickly with that. So, and you have some bots that actually are automated, and they do that for you. But I just don't trust that, because those bots go down, the actual nodes go down every now and then. So you get a node malfunction and you're done. So yeah, in a wrap, I like what the gentleman was saying, but as we see it to this day, there is no movement on this legislation, guys. It has stalled out, and you have a lot of people that are against what the banks are doing, but the banks are shelling out Disney trips. They're shelling out a lot of money, and we have tons of corrupt congressmen that are taking that money. So I think Hoskinson is right. And by the way, Hoskinson has really been throwing daggers at Brad Garlinghouse lately. He's been throwing darts. at the back of this guy's head, causing a lot of problems for XRP right now. He says 2029. LMFG, we laughed at that, but I think he's dead on.
Yeah, you know what? Because here's the thing. If they try to pass this thing this way, he'll just veto it, and they're going to need 60 votes in the Senate to overturn it.
Right.
I'm telling you, November 3rd, and I've been saying this for years, November 3rd, 2026, the most important day. I'm telling you. I'm gonna send a thing out to Elon and say, hey, can you get big balls to make a database of all the politicians that are pro crypto and only vote for those people? I don't care what party they're in, just get them people in. Pro crypto.
I hear you, man. I hear you. It's crazy. Michael Saylor, $13 million Bitcoin prediction. We got to get to this, man. Mr. Saylor is a wild boy. Let me tell you, he's a wild boy. Let's hear what he has to say about this. Bitcoin is not going to 13 million.
Bitcoin's 0.1% of the capital in the world right now. I think it's going to go to 7% of the capital.
7%.
My long-term forecast is it's going to go to 13 million over 21 years.
My God. LMFG. I don't know. I understand the enthusiasm.
That guy used. What matches do you use?
He's not using a standard calculator, let me tell you. And he's not looking at the metrics, the underlying metrics. And there's a lot of factors here. There's a lot of variables. I'm looking at these metals that are siphoning from Bitcoin right now. Siphoning from the stock market. I don't know. Maybe he's in a parallel universe, kind of bleeding over into our universe every now and then. I don't know.
13 million.
But what is it 5 years from now? You're in your 4-year calculus.
You know, it's been growing 44% a year with about a 40 to 50 vol. I would think it'll move on at 40%, then click down to 35, then 30, then 25. And at some point, it'll be the S&P return plus 8%, and it'll be the S&P vol plus 8%, because it's always going to be a more global, open, free capital market.
How is there stuff that's above your pay grade? You're worth billions. I mean, we can say that. It's above our pay grade, but who gets to decide if it's above your pay grade?
He might have been it's below his pay grade.
Right, exactly.
Listen, you know, as we segue back, LMFG, what's your take on this 13 mil? I mean, you know, anybody can say anything. We had Tom Lee with his Ethereum predictions, which are, you know, ridiculous. He's down big time in a negative. We have this genius, this guy with this amazing IQ that we see on X posting every time. He's supposed to be the smartest guy, whatever, this Asian guy. His predictions are pretty interesting as well, but he's wrong, essentially. We can say all we can say, but Michael is playing with a lot of money, a lot of other people's money. So I think this is this could be a disaster for him. But at the same time, we see the Trump bros saying the same thing, coming out saying things about ETH. Buy this, buy the dip, you know. This type of stuff got Martha Stewart locked up. I guess they're playing by different rules here when it comes to crypto. I don't know. What's your take, bro? You're seeing this rush, $13 million. I certainly do not.
No, never happened, man. A couple hundred years down the road, if it's still there and that's what we're using, yeah, okay. You know, I don't know, because the dollar, inflation, blah, blah, blah. The dollar, it'll be around.
Well, you heard what Ray had to say about the dollar, right?
Exactly. But this is history, man. All currencies die. You know?
No, absolutely.
You know? And then that's why you see, I think this is why you're seeing this gold rush again, because here we go. They're going to build up on the gold, and then they're going to pick something else. And what are they going to pick? If they pick Bitcoin, so it could rock and roll, but let's see what happens, you know. And like we've said, Bitcoin has issues.
It does.
Expensive. You know, just to keep this thing running is expensive as hell. You look at these fucking mining. Oops, French.
No, you're good. You're good.
You know, go look at the power and the air conditioning. Like we said, the water. There's water going through the computers. You know, the pumps, everything, on and on. It's not an easy thing to do. Proof of work.
Well, you know what? Natural gas You probably wouldn't even think so, but natural gas, it actually has an effect on Bitcoin. And I ran across this article. I wasn't going to talk about this, but we'll get into it briefly because you said Bitcoin has a lot of problems. There are a lot of sidebar issues that affect Bitcoin. A lot of this isn't talked about. By the way, Bitcoin is over 90,000. We're seeing some buying of this deal. This is an interesting article. Now, natural gas. This is a headline here. Natural gas surged 17% yesterday, and it's triggering a macro trap that could suddenly tank Bitcoin's prices. Now, you're probably like, well, how does natural gas affect Bitcoin's prices? Now, if the spike sticks, if natural gas continues to surge, inflation expectations can reprice, real yields can jump, and Bitcoin's liquidity tailwind could flip very, very fast. And you're probably like, how does this happen? How does natural gas prices surging affect Bitcoin's liquidity? Now, we'll get into it briefly because I thought it was very interesting. Natural gas prices surged 17% on the 19th, which was yesterday, driving a cold forecast across Northeast Asia and Europe, tightening liquidity in global propane markets, in the natural gas markets, which actually propane as well. A short covering in European storage inventory sitting 15% below its actual 5-year average. Now, for most crypto traders, a weather-driven commodity spike registers as an irrelevant situation. Something for energy desks to manage, not Bitcoin's portfolio. You would think that now. However, the transmissions mechanism from energy shock to Bitcoin runs through real interest rates and dollar liquidity conditions. When those channels activate, the impact can materialize faster than the market's price can actually react to. Now, this is very interesting. The question isn't whether a single day natural gas moves indicates Bitcoin's trajectory. It's whether the energy shock reprices inflation expectations. There you go. Drags real yields higher and tightens dollar denominated liquidity conditions that Bitcoin increasingly tracks as it integrates deeper into macro markets. Now, the evidence suggests that infrastructure for the transmission exists, even if the magnitude and duration of today's move remain uncertain. So this is going to be a lasting effect on Bitcoin's liquidity. Real yield, which are nominally treasury yields minus inflation expectations, have emerged as one of the clearest macro drivers of Bitcoin's performance. NYDIG research frames Bitcoin as a liquidity barometer with a strengthening inverse relationship to real interest rates. BlackRock has similarly highlighted real yield as a driver of crypto's volatility, noting that higher real rates tend to create headwinds for digital assets by making yield-bearing alternatives more attractive by signaling tighter financial conditions. So this correlates LMFG. The mechanism linking natural gas to real yields runs through break-even inflation rates, which the Federal Reserve defines as the difference between nominal 10-year Treasury yields, 10-year Treasury inflation protection securities, TIPIS yields as well. This correlation is pretty interesting, LMFG. So we got to watch a lot of stuff, man. And a lot of this is not talked about on X, but this is just one actual commodity that actually affects and runs parallel to Bitcoins, and not only the price, but the liquidity as well. This is a macro that's not talked about. Now, as we move back to Bitcoin, again, I think CMC is actually late on their tracking. They really need to fix this. Let me refresh it because other agencies are saying we're above 89,000. So we'll just round it off. $90,000 Bitcoin. CMC will catch up here in a little bit. LMFG, that was very interesting about the surge in natural gas and how that's actually affecting yield across the board. That could get worse. But as the article states, that first part of it, it doesn't really matter now. The effect is real. The attachment is real. And we're just going to see we're going to have to see how this goes, because we will have an energy crisis, especially if the Ukraine-Russia thing overlaps with the Greenland situation. Can you imagine if Russia goes into Ukraine very, very strongly? You have Israel going into Iran, and then the Greenland thing pops off. We're talking about a global conflict on a multifaceted level. This could really, really, really crash the markets, LMFG. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope all that doesn't happen simultaneously.
Nah, I don't see that happening, man. It'd be too
much.
Hope not. You know what I mean? We already got how many deaths so far over the last few years with all these wars? It's horrible. This shit's got to stop. And Iran, it's ugly there, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's getting a little weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully, let's see what happens. Devos always has a lot of pull. There's always a lot of changes. A lot of stuff comes out after it. Let's see what happens. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Rock and roll, peace for the world. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. In the next absolutely. Trump has some interesting things. You know, he loves Bitcoin. He didn't, almost 9 years ago, he had a Bitcoin, but he has some pretty improving words. I would add, because he's got a lot on his plate. But he did say this, and I like this. I like that the fact that this was said by the president. I think it was overdue.
Bills passed in the next few months.
Well, it's a very funny thing, crypto. So I became a fan of crypto, and to me, it's an industry. I view it as an industry, and I'm president. And if we didn't have it, China would, or somebody else would, but most likely China. China would love to. And we've dominated that industry. It's a big industry, by the way. In fact, when the stock market went down recently, crypto and Bitcoin and all of that went down much less than anybody else as a group. And we've created a very powerful industry, and that's much more important than anything that we invest in. We invest in it, but really that was an industry that wasn't doing particularly well. I got involved with it a couple of years ago, and before the second term. I got involved before I decided to run. I only decided to run because I saw what was happening, and Biden was incompetent, and the administration was crooked and incompetent. And I was in Bitcoin then, not knowing.
He's still taking shots at Joe. Yeah, leave Joe alone. He's eating his ice cream right now. Leave him alone.
Always take shots, period. Like Susie Wiles just rolled her eyes.
He can't help himself. He's always got to kick Joe in the nuts, man. Every single time. He's got to nudge him in the balls. Just Joe can care less. He's eating ice cream right now on the beach. I don't know what Joe's doing, but Trump's wrong about the dominance. China dominates the volume. There's an underground trading that's going on in China. That's in the billions of dollars. That's not reported. So we never really led on that front because there's a lot of underreporting volume that's not reported. So we don't lead that. And we didn't create cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is worldwide. It's not just in the U.S. We'll never sequester that and dominate that. It's always going to be a worldwide connection. So I don't like that. I don't think we should perpetuate that. That's a lie. We're never going to own cryptocurrency. We're never going to own Bitcoin, and we're never going to own and be the world's largest mover of cryptocurrency. It's a worldwide thing. So I don't like that. I think that's false. But when it comes to the choke point, he's right. When he came back in, he did release that choke point, and we should be grateful for that.
If I was going to do it a third time. So it's become amazing. I mean, it's the jobs that it produces. And I notice more and more you pay in Bitcoin. I mean, people are saying it takes a lot of pressure off the dollar. And it's a great thing for our country. So I don't care about investing. I have I have kids, and they invest in different things. They do believe in it. But I'm president, and what I did do there is build an industry that's very important. And, if we didn't have it, China would. Okay.
All right, so he forgot about World Liberty Finance. He does have a business. I don't think he likes to talk about that because the Dems really get on him about that because of the conflict. But it is what it is, LMFG. Let's go ahead and take a look at the TVL report. Because we are going up. TVL is not that. You would think that TVL would be in the dirt. You have some individual platforms, individual blockchain ecosystems that are suffering. But as a whole, we're still up within a 24-hour period. Total TVL locked $121 billion LMFG. This decentralized finance engine keeps ticking. It doesn't care about wars. This is what I love about decentralized finance. DeFi, essentially. It really doesn't care about politics. It continues to tick. Stablecoin volume is up 2% within a 7-day period when it comes to TVL. Locked across the board. We're talking about every single protocol. It's moving. DApp flow is moving. You have a fee. These platforms are making money. They continue to make money. One of the most prestigious movers, I would say, would be Stakehouse Finance. It's a risk curator doing very, very well across the board. Lending, staking is doing very well. Lending and borrowing. This is another thing that the banks really are afraid of. Seeing their most precious cash cow.
Problem for the banks.
Yeah, absolutely, because that is a cash cow for the banks. LMFG. Go ahead, brother.
That's the best for the people. This is what I seen 5 years ago, and I figured the politicians would have had it. But that's the biggest thing, guys. Just think about it: loaning and borrowing. If you have, and let's say you have, I don't know, $10,000 in Bitcoin, you could put that up and take a $2,000 loan, not pay any interest on it. Bitcoin goes up and down, and only if it goes below. You know what I mean? You do a loan to value ratio where it's crazy. You won't even have to pay a premium. That's what it's all about, and it's backed dollar for dollar. It's fully. It's none of this fractionalized banking. It's fully reserved.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the beauty about this stuff.
Yeah.
The politicians. I'm gonna send a thing to Elon Musk and ask him, and everybody do this, and I'll even pin this up and ask him to get big balls in there and build a database of every single. You got to realize all of them, all senators and congressmen are up for vote November 3rd, and just make a list of all the pro crypto politicians, and don't give a shit about anything else, just pro crypto. And it'll get done.
No, I'm with you on that.
It is right. You watch, and I hope 2029. I hope that was way off, but let's say 2027. You know, after November 3rd, these guys come out in January, February, and get something. My fingers crossed. I hope these politicians and I hope the voters pay attention what they're doing, big time. Been saying that for a couple of years now.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. It's. I was trying to get there's Charles. Yeah, I was going to get into it because Charles ripped a new one into Brad Garlinghouse, but he's long-winded. He gets he gets sauced up and he gets a little long-winded. He went 22 minutes on that, and I may do some other clips on that. And it was in his Happy Sunday post, and he just went off. It pissed a lot of people off, but I mean. He was telling the truth, man. Things are going left right now. They're not going the way that they should go. And the CEO, Larry Fink, he was in Davos. He has some pretty interesting statements when it comes to the trust of institutions and the mistrust that he's seeing across the board. Nobody trusts institutions. Are you surprised by that? I'm not very surprised by that. Of course they don't trust institutions.
Yes, not at all.
Well, as far as TVL, we're doing great. When we're talking about borrowing and lending, that is a cash cow for traditional banking. And they see this going away. This is how they make all their money, borrowing and lending through the service fees, account holder fees, things of that nature, taking your yield, stealing your equity. This is what they do. This is how they make money. Been doing it for years. Those days are coming to an end, and they see that. And that is a lot of money that they're going to lose. Over $6 billion. You have one particular project here that I want to spotlight. Morpho. This is a borrowing and lending situation here. Over $6 billion worth of TVL alone. So I understand the threat. I understand why they're shaking in their boots. I get it. I would be too as well. We're gonna.
This is the largest gathering.
We're gonna listen to Larry Fink, and this is what we're talking about. He's in Davos. He's talking about the mistrust when it comes to institutional mistrust. And I don't understand why they're shocked by this. Why you're surprised by this? No one trusts institutions right now. And I think they're starting to realize this. Will it change? I don't know, but I thought this was very interesting.
This is the largest gathering of global leadership of the post-COVID period of time.
This is a BlackRock CEO here, guys.
For many people, this meeting feels out of step with the moment. We hear all about the elites. And how does that play out in an age of populism? How does an established institution make a difference in an era of deep institutional mistrust? And there's some truth to the critique. I believe in this forum for a long time. I certainly wouldn't be leading this if I didn't believe that we can change and make the world better. But it's also obvious that the world now places far less trust in us to help shape what comes next. If the World Economic Forum is going to be useful going forward, It has to regain that trust.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you agree, LMFG? I think they lost it a long time ago, but are they too late in recognizing this? I think they're too late. I don't know. Could be wrong.
Hopefully not.
Well, we shall see. Now, we're going to go ahead and segue into the member giveaway because we're coming to the latter part of the show. And I don't see any, I want to get into a little bit more with the XRP situation, but we're going to stop here. We did get Paul Atkins today coming out saying that the crypto market structure bill is ready to go. This is what he said. Listen to this. He's lying. It was an all-out lie.
Through on the president for signing that bill. Now, there's a market structure bill that's going through the Clarity Act that was passed by the House. And so that we'll see where that goes in Congress. And so I'm hoping that they'll be able to get that through. But in the meantime,
it's not happening.
We in the CFTC will be, and already are, actively working on harmonizing our two systems.
Okay, so
no, we see the wheel up.
Yeah, no, it was just audio. Yeah, it's not going to. Did you guys hear the audio?
No.
Oh hell. We'll put it back up. I think the audio should have played here. All right, we'll put it back up.
Bill. Now, there's a market structure bill that's through on the president for signing that bill. Now, there's a market structure bill that's going through the Clarity Act that was passed by the House. And so that we'll see where that goes in Congress. And so I'm hoping that they'll be able to get that through. But in the meantime, we in the CFTC will be, and already are, actively working on harmonizing our two systems.
Listen, I wish them good luck, but the word hope is what sticks out to me, and we already know what's going on. So a lot of the actual uncertainties already been leaked out. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna do a double check, make sure I got everybody on the wheel, and we'll spin this wheel for 3 members. See if we can give out some soul today, and I think we got everybody on this wheel. Yep. Looks like everybody's here, so let's go ahead and get this member giveaway going. We need 3 winners, and we're gonna give out some soul today. Let's go. In order to qualify, you have to be a member as well. I forgot to say that. And interact with the content. Member only content. And did I get you on the wheel? I think it's gonna be Rami. I think we got Rami at 90158. Absolutely. So Rami, you know what to do. Just hit me up, and I just need that soul address so we can get you your cash. Let's go. We need 2 more. Looks like Bitcoin is pushing back up to 90. Still a lot of sell pressure. It's crazy. Lots of sell pressure right now. I think we're gonna get crypto joy. No, I think crypto for retire. Okay, so we got crypto for retire. Gonna pull that off at the last minute. We need 1 more winner. Let's go. Let me see, I'm gonna call Capasonia. I think it's gonna be Capasonia, I believe I called that right. Yep. So Capasonia, we have 3 winners. So let's go ahead and read these results. So we have Rami 90158. It's gonna be the first winner. Crypto for retire 141 is gonna be winner number 2. And to wrap that off, Copasonia, I think that's what it is. Copasonia, could be, it's probably wrong. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but sorry if I did that wrong. So LMFG, we're going to end it with another look at Bitcoin here. We have $89,000 Bitcoin. ETH is still below 3,000, so a lot of people are freaking out on that as well. Solana, will it get to $120 again? I don't know. You have the ETFs, you have Solana ETFs, you have tokenized stocks on their RWAs are flying off the chain here. Solana is set up for success. there's just a lot of sell pressure going on, and a lot when it comes to geopolitics. And Bitcoin is trying to reclaim 90,000. I don't know, LMFG. A lot of sell pressure, a lot of things. We have an announcement from Trump, an economic announcement coming at I think it's 3 p.m. Eastern today. Currently almost 1 o'clock here Central Time. So we'll be looking for that. Thank you. We have a first time watcher, LS Choir, I think 45. Hand clap to you, sir, for coming to the show. Hope you enjoyed it. We do this every Monday. LMFG, what's your take, brother? What do you think? Are we going to hit 90, or are we going to get out of this oversold territory? I would like to see the market overbought. That would be very, very bullish. But looks like we are down sliding, and 89,000 for the Bitcoin. What's your take? Are we going to 87 or 88? I'm calling 80K, especially if all hell breaks loose in Greenland. Probably below that as well. So,
right, it's so crazy. And just last week, I think it was like the largest inflow with the XRP ETFs, right? Like 520 million or something in a week.
Yeah,
it's not crazy. And here it is at $1.89. CCA time coming up over this weekend. Let's see what these guys say after Davos and all the chatter goes, and and then they're gonna pencil in whatever they say or everybody thinks Powell is gonna say on Wednesday. Here we go. Everybody, be safe, rock and roll, man.
I tell you, we have to.
Yeah, man.
You gotta be safe. We have what we got? So there. Oh, this is interesting. So we're finalizing a $700 billion cash offer to Greenland to basically buy Greenland outright from Denmark, plus $100,000 lump sum payment to each of its. Oh wow! Hold on. This is interesting. And then we'll leave on this one. This is interesting. So we have some people landing here in Greenland. This is interesting. So looks like a Trump plane. So is Trump in Greenland right now? Very interesting. So here's the announcement here. I think this is very interesting. In a bombshell revelation, top White House officials disclosed that the United States is finalizing a staggering almost $1 trillion cash offer to buy Greenland right out from Denmark. I didn't even know Denmark owned Greenland.
Yeah. Oh, that was way back. Way back.
Wow.
I forget. I read something. I read a bunch of stuff about it when he started saying that in his first term, if you remember. So I forget what I read, but yeah, they had it a long time. And that is a home run. Can you?
Jesus Christ!
This guy he's unbelievable.
He's what is this 4D chess?
He's going to say, and don't worry, we're going to pay for it with the 200% tariff on the French wine. This guy is too much.
So he's going to use the tariff money to pay for Greenland. This is nuts. It really is. Look at this, man. So $700 billion cash offer for Greenland. It
really is the smartest thing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if you look, and then we're all buddies with Venezuela, you're really totally protecting the United States on that side. We got Alaska up there. Yeah. Canada's in the middle of it. Canada's in heaven, and I think Canada should try to become part of the United States.
Well, I think the western side of it has already offered themselves to be bought, I believe.
Right. So, I mean, it would be smart. I mean, you put this all together. Just think about that. Tremendous. We're already the largest GDP out there, right? And you see how it's snowballing now. In the next year or so, year and a half, when all these factories start going online, I think the one here in North Carolina they built, I think, is 700,000 square feet. It's ready to go online next year. Crazy. Rock and roll.
Well, this is being actually, confirmed. I guess NBC News and Fox News and others. You could take that with a grain of salt, but they're reporting this as well. This is a Trump jet, bro. That looks like it says landing in Greenland. I'm pretty sure I saw Trump on this jet. Let me look at it. Look at it again. Looks like it says Trump there.
Eric and Donnie. Eric and Donnie Jr.
Oh, you think it's Eric and Donnie, right? This is crazy.
At Davos. That's
okay. All right. So here's the underlining factors here. 700 billion cash offer. To take it from Greenland, from Denmark. I'm sorry. And then plus $100,000 lump sum payment to each of its 57,000 residents, totaling nearly $706 billion acquisition. So each resident is going to get $100,000 on top of that, on top of the buyout. That's a sweet ass deal, bro.
That is, and actually, I think it's smart. And as a taxpayer, 100% do it. And here's the gig: goodbye to the 200% tariff, and it's going to cost us. They're going to print more money. It is what it is. We got blockchain technology. If they get these acts in for the people, they gotta knock this shit out. And if Armstrong's the only guy screaming about that, that's not pretty for us guys.
I know. Yeah.
Let's see what I'm telling you. Garlinghouse better watch what he says. He said they already, the Ripple put it out that they're going to put out they're doing an interview that they're going to put it out on YouTube, I guess. Yeah. So we'll see.
We'll see how it goes, man. Yeah, you're right. I don't know what Brad Garlinghouse is thinking about. I don't know. I don't know, brother. But this is very interesting. I think that's a sweet deal for the Greenlanders. Is that what you call people in Greenlanders? I don't know. But for the people of Greenland, sweet deal. Okay, Greenlanders. Okay, it's kind of a tongue twister. My coffee's wearing out, so we're towards the end of the show. We're giving last remarks, and I saw this during when you were speaking, bro. $100,000 for each resident. If I'm a resident of Greenland, I'm like, sign the deal, get it signed. Get it signed.
I vote yes.
You know, I'm good. You know, they're gonna have this shit. Just give me my 100K. You know, I'm pretty sure they can use that.
And they have very limited stuff there. You got to realize that they're very Arctic. They're happy. They love it. Many people go retire there, believe it or not. You know.
Yeah, we have Lucknick. We're getting a lot of feed from Davos. We have Lucknick at the forum too. He's speaking. He says, the Trump administration, we're out here to make a very clear point in Davos. Globalization has failed the West and the United States of America. It's a failed policy, and it is left to Americans to actually rebuild. So Lucknick is throwing elbows in Davos right now. He's starting to listen to this.
And the world is a better place for it. The fact is,
I don't think we should be doing this in Davos, but check this out. This is interesting. And then we got to get out of here. Hold on. There it goes right here. This is Lucknick. Yeah, he's throwing jabs already.
Well, I think you should start at a much higher level. Okay. We are in Davos at the World Economic Forum. And the Trump administration and myself, we are here to make a very clear point. Globalization has failed the West and the United States of America. It's a failed policy. It is what the WEF has stood for, which is export, offshore, far shore, find the cheapest labor in the world, and the world is a better place for it. The fact is, it has left America behind. It has left the American workers behind. And what we are here to say is that America First is a different model, one that we encourage other countries to consider, which is that our workers come first. We can have policies that impact our workers. Sovereignty is your borders. You're entitled to have borders. You shouldn't offshore your medicine. You shouldn't offshore your semiconductors. You shouldn't offshore your entire industrial base and have it be hollowed out beneath you. You should not be dependent for that which is fundamental to your sovereignty on any other nation. And if you're going to be dependent on someone, it darn well better be your best allies. Okay? And so that is a different way of thinking. It is completely different than the WEF. I viewed the WEF as not a flagpole in the middle, but in fact, they are the flag. Whichever way the wind blew, so it blew. You should have solar, you should have wind. Why are you going to do solar and wind?
What is going on?
Why would Europe agree to be net zero in 2030 when they don't make a battery? They don't make a battery. So if they go 2030, they are deciding to be subservient to China, who makes the batteries.
Okay, so Lucknick is, what is he doing? LMFG, what is he doing?
Hey, here's the thing, man.
I think he lost it. He lost his shit, bro.
No, I think what he's doing, he said, this is what Trump wants to say, but he's getting too much, and it's at Davos. Ludnick, there's not a person on this friggin' earth that can't love him.
No, I do. I do adore his thoughts.
If you don't know him, you go look it up. Yeah. He lost his whole company, and he took care of every one of those families. Like there's no everything.
I read about that. Yeah.
Tremendous and smart. And it was Cantor Fitzgerald, I think. He ran unbelievable, that guy. And he's just telling it like it is. And as an American, I love it. To do this at Davos?
That's what exactly. That's my point, bro. Was this the right setting?
He's being the Trump. You watch. Let's see how Trump talks there. You know.
Well, you can look at. He's probably going to go worse. He's probably going to kick Joe Biden in the balls again in front of Davos. He loves to do that. But this is any indication of what's to come.
Whoa! I guarantee Trump says the auto pen at Davos.
He's going to kick him in the balls.
Is that a poly market?
This is hilarious. Listen, this is what I agree. I agree with Luckman when it comes to outsourcing. It's out of control. I think outsourcing has been out of control for the last decade. It's crazy. So he's right. We got to bring those jobs back.
Ross Perot, brother. Yeah. Ross Perot, NAFTA. He goes, all the American jobs are going to be sucked out of the United States.
He sure did.
That's a quote, and maybe not exact, but that's what he said. And here we have it today.
He did. Yeah.
20, 30 years later, here we are.
Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, that's that. I think that pretty much tanked Ross Perot's campaign when he was talking about that. He had no chance after that.
I worked for Perot Systems. It was about 2 years after that election, and actually all the employees were pissed off because they didn't get bonuses and this and that because he had to spend so much money on campaigning. And I voted for him. Business, all business here. And that's what Trump is, all business here. And now it's so far gone. Now he's fighting everything. He's fighting the friggin' banks.
Yeah, he's got a big fight. He's got a big fight.
Politicians, blockchain, they got to be for the people. Screw these banks. I don't know.
Well,
man, everybody be safe, enjoy.
Absolutely, man. I could go on and on. There's a lot of Devo content that's dropping right now.
Right, me too. I can just go.
We gotta go to work here in a little bit, but a lot of the Devo can't wait to see what Trump is probably gonna lay it on him. Lucknick was dead on with the outsourcing. It's gonna take some time, and for us to become a manufacturing giant again, a manufacturing, to move from service to manufacturing, it's gonna take about 10 years. So this is not going to happen overnight. So it's going to take some time. And I think Trump, 3.5 years left. I don't know if he can do it in time, but we'll see. I don't want to, dampen that parade, but that's going to take some time. But we need to get the outsourcing. He's got a lot on his plate. The Greenland thing is crazy. I'm pretty sure every citizen is going to want a piece of that. And 100K is nothing to sneeze at. So if you're a citizen, if you're a Greenlander and you heard this news, you're probably pro acquisition when it comes to the United States acquiring Greenland. You're probably like, let's do it. Let's get this done, because that's a lot of money. And a lot of those, I think 57,000 of those citizens in Greenland, they would love to have that in their bank. So with that being said, we'll catch you guys later, and be mindful of what's going on with Bitcoin as well. Altcoins are going to bleed probably for the next 2 weeks until we get some, some levelization when it comes to geopolitics. And some language, some crypto, bill language, some good news when it comes to the Clarity Act. Hopefully we can get the banks out of the way, and that would clear the road for some good movement in altcoins, because right now it's pretty bearish. So be careful in the market. Don't get wrapped up into any scams and Telegram as well. All right, take it easy. We'll see you guys.